Welcome back to another UFC fight prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting the prelim fights for UFC on ESPN 14, Whittaker versus Till. So without further ado, let's get to our first fight on the card and our first fight on the prelims. So in our first fight, matter of fact, I'm going to do a little bit different on this one. I'm going to start with the fight that should have been on the main card, but just got introduced. And that was the Chimaev fight versus McKee. So I'm going to start with that one. Since I didn't do it on the main card, I'm going to do it on the prelims, and I'm going to make it the first one on the prelims. So, in our first fight, we have in the welterweight division, Kianzad Chimaev versus McKee. And this one's pretty straightforward, really, because McKee, he's a solid fighter, good foot movement, good striking. He's not a guy that's going to let any opportunity just slip him by. Like somebody will let you take him down or let you hold him in the clinch, and they're not going to do anything except try to maybe throw a punch or try to get out of the clinch. He'll see opportunities at different angles, like somebody trying to go down on a takedown or try to go for a single, or just getting too comfortable in the position. He'll attack submissions. He'll look for things. Whereas, like I said, a lot of people won't do things in those positions. Now that's a good fact, like a good trait to have. I'm not saying it's going to help him so much in this fight. It can certainly not going to hurt. Well, it definitely can hurt because you're too comfortable getting put in the clinch or too comfortable on the ground. With a guy like Chimaev, that would go very bad for you, and I think that's going to be the case. But how I see McKee, good frame, 6'2", 6'1", 6'2", because I don't know, one time they say he's 6'1", sometimes they say he's 6'2", but either way, good frame, good striker, good, decent grappling. Not the best takedown offense, not the best, he's not the guy that's going to be submitting people at the highest level of the game, per se, but a good skill set. He's really a lightweight in my opinion. I think most of Correia, even up to last year, he was 155. Then I think he might have had a fight at 170. Then all of a sudden he jumped up and had a fight at 185 against a guy who's 7-8 or 9-8. So in my opinion, his frame is best for 155. He's not filled out. He's not the strongest. He's not this. He's not that. I say at 155 is his true weight class right now. Maybe 170, but definitely not 185. So I just really think he's up at this weight class because it's on short notice and he wanted to get into the UFC and he took the opportunity. But I see good skill set, but he doesn't do the best against real solid grapplers, and he's going against a real solid grappler. Like I said, he got good footwork, good striking, good technique. Not the most power, not the most strength, but solid technique, solid footwork, solid striking. Head work need a little bit of improvement. Footwork can be a little bit better, but like I said, young fighter, a lot of rooms for improvement, a lot of skills, a lot of upside to him, but needs to be a smaller weight class. And the way how he fights, I think Chimaev will be able to not have too much issue getting him to the ground. I feel like McKee will make him work, but Chimaev will just take him down. Take those opportunities, take him down and control him, dominate him on the ground, and really give him a tough 3 rounds. Just take down, relentless, ground and pound, and just beating him. McKee trying to work for position, trying to not get finished, or trying to maintain his guard, or trying to maintain this, maintain that. But Chimaev just relentless with the grappling and dominated him for 3 rounds. So in this fight, I got Kianzad Chimaev via decision. Now to our next fight we have in the bantamweight division, Nathaniel Wood versus John Castaneda. And this one is pretty straightforward. I think Castaneda is a solid fighter. I don't think nothing about his skill set is all that high level or all that UFC caliber necessarily. His striking is just decent. Grappling just decent. Definitely need to work on that takedown defense. But on the ground, pretty good jiu-jitsu. I'm not saying he going to submit you, but he can at least hold his own, got a decent guard, and can maintain it against a lower tier competition. Maybe not the higher tier competition. But really what's stand out most about him to me is he's a fighter. He has the heart, he has the cardio, and that's pretty much, he has the heart and cardio. Not a heavy hitter, not a guy that has so much technique or anything like that, but he has heart and cardio, and that could get you very far. When a fight really needs you to pull it out, he can pull it out. He can dig deeper than other fighters, and he can dig it out. But going against Nathaniel Wood, I just see a fighter that's far more technical than him, taller, longer, stronger, better grappler, much faster, much sharper. I think Nathaniel Wood could beat him either way. He could beat him on the feet or on the ground. I think he'll take opportunity on the ground. Cause from seeing Castaneda's Contender Series fight, I saw him getting taken down. It wasn't like he got taken down. His takedown offense is just so poor. But the fact how he got taken down, or the same level of takedowns, I think Nathaniel Wood could set up on him. I could see those same opportunities Nathaniel Wood would take full advantage of. I could see those opportunities where he was on the ground and look kind of just still on, kind of flat on his back in the guard. I can see Nathaniel Wood passing his guard and just picking him apart and dropping ground and pound and looking for submissions, looking for opportunities. I can see in those same positions, Nathaniel Wood looking for opportunities to do damage and finish and finding those opportunities in those same positions from what I've seen in those Contender Series fight, well, in that Contender Series fight. And now let me slow down just a little bit, but either way to get to the point, I see Nathaniel Wood is the better fighter in every single area. I think Castaneda could go on to be a solid fighter in the UFC if they take him along the right route. But in this route for his debut, I just think Nathaniel Wood just picks him apart everywhere. I think he picks him apart on feet, takes him to the ground, drops him ground and pound, gets him to open up his guard, passes his guard, like busts him up, gets him to turn to his back, hops on his back, and gets him a rear naked choke in that second round. So in this fight, I got Nathaniel Wood via second round submission. Now to our next fight we have in the welterweight division, Ramazan Emeev versus Nicholas Stolze. And this one is straight up. Nicholas Stolze, I don't see nothing spectacular. I don't see anything about him that screams UFC caliber. He's kind of stepping in here, but from what I've seen, I see nothing spectacular or nothing standout or nothing that's deserving to be in the UFC from what I've seen from him. Like his striking is very herky-jerky. It's not even herky-jerky in the sense that it's so confusing. It's more herky-jerky in the fact that he loads them with strikes in the funny ways that it makes it telegraph. It makes it easy for shot opportunities. Make it easy to counter, make it easy to avoid. And all that herky and jerking doesn't even put much power behind your punches. More so it's hurting you and making you more susceptible to getting hurt. Like you're going to pull your back out on the punches like that. And then all at the same time, somebody can easily counter you and your chin will be wide up and you can get put on a stretcher fighting like that against a high-level opponent. And what I really see, I think Emeev can really outstrike Stolze if he wants to. But what I really see him doing, like maybe taking advantage on feet with some striking, but more so when he do these herky-jerky type load up on his strikes. In this telegraph, I just see Emeev getting easy takedowns and dominating him on the ground every single time he does this herky-jerky style. And I just really see Emeev just dominating him for 3 rounds, just easy takedown after easy takedown, controlled, large amount of ground control time. So in this fight, I got Ramazan Emeev via decision. Now to our next fight we have in the women's bantamweight division, Beth Correia versus Pannie Kianzad. Now I see this fight right here. I think Kianzad has about like 4 or 5 inch reach advantage. She has about like a 4 inch height advantage. I believe like 5, yeah, about 3 inch height advantage. I think like 5'4" versus 5'7" or 5'5" versus 5'7". Either way, she got the advantage in the height, in the reach. And the youth advantage, I think she's like 33 versus Correia, who's 37, surprisingly enough, she's getting up there in age. But what I really seen in this fight is that Pannie Kianzad in her last fight showed that she showed good footwork, she showed good power in the shot, she showed good shot selection, good jab. And like she really was chaining it together very well in her last fight. I think Beth Correia is a solid fighter, but most of her game is on the inside. But I feel like Pannie Kianzad with her footwork, her improved jab, her improved striking, her mixing those kicks in, can really give Correia a hard fight and not allow Correia to get in on the inside. I think Correia will get in on the inside, but I don't think her having much success getting on the inside. I feel like Kianzad is the better grappler between the two. They don't, like I said, being a longer, rangier, like the younger fighter as well. Larger arsenal, I think it'd be hard for Correia to get to where her strong suit is. And I feel like Kianzad is gonna keep her on the outside for most of the part of this fight. On the inside, I feel like she'll be able to break free, cut angles, and get out from that inside fighting game of Correia. And really, but I still see it as a close competitive fight. Like I don't think she's going to shut Correia down, but I feel like most of the fight is going to be Kianzad dictating, the pace of this fight. Like she's going to be the one leading the pace of this fight for the large portion of this fight. But I feel like Correia still will find ways to get into the fight, but for the large part, it's going to be Kianzad's footwork, her arsenal, who are mixing it up, creating those angles, and just not allow Correia to get on the inside. And it's really outlanding her probably like about by a significant clip, probably like 10, 15 more strikes overall over the course of 3 rounds. Competitive fight, but I got Kianzad. So in this fight, I got Pannie Kianzad via decision. Now to our next fight we have in the heavyweight division, Tanner Boser versus Rafael Pessoa. And this one right here for me is a very easy prediction. Or it can, like, anything can happen in MMA and like stuff can happen, but this is about as easy as it comes for me as far as prediction right here. Rafael Pessoa, I don't think he really presents anything all that phenomenal for anyone in the division. Like he's tall, but he's scrawny, built weird. He swings some shots very sloppily. And that's about it. He's a tall, lanky guy that swings sloppily. That's the tale of Rafael Pessoa. Now he's going against Tanner Boser, who's a high-level striker, good fight IQ, good defense, some solid underrated grappling as well. So solid striker and with underrated grappling as well. Just a real well-rounded fighter at the heavyweight division. I think Tanner Boser just circles around him. And also, Pessoa just really just comes on a straight line. He's not a fighter that really can deal with angles or create different this or different that or move, have solid footwork. He's just a straightforward, wide, loopy, swinging, long fighter. That's all he is. Can't even maximize his length. So I feel like Tanner Boser just going to cut angles, chew up his leg, and then come over the top and drop him and then finish him off in quick succession. I don't think it's going to happen like early on. I think Boser's gonna fill him out. He's like being the technical smart fighter even though he knows he's the more technical fighter, he knows that Pessoa is like open for this stuff. He's not gonna rush the finish. He's gonna let it come to him. Stuff like it's probably gonna happen like in the second round, early on in the second round. Really just picking him apart in the first round, just chewing his legs up, countering, jabbing him up, and just picking him apart early. Then in the second round, that's when he finds the opportunity, he finds that rhythm, finds that opening, finds that read, catches him, and puts him out. And I think it's in the second round. So in this fight, I got Tanner Boser via second round TKO. Now to our next fight we have in the featherweight division, Movsar Evolev versus Mike Grundy. And you got a battle of two high-level grapplers versus each other. And the one thing you can kind of say from the jump is they're both high-level grapplers. So usually when two high-level grapplers go against one another, it's who has the edge in another area that will allow them to win the fight. And between these two, you could say the grappling might be dead even. You might be able to say that. Or you might be able to lean one guy, or you might be able to lean the other guy. But you could say, so it's still close, but who has that edge? And you say Mike Grundy. He has the better striking. He has more power. He has shown more in the striking than Evolev has, at least as far as higher level, like in the higher level competition, not as far as low leagues or stuff like that. But overall, he has shown to be the more powerful striker, the more accurate striker, the more better defensive striker overall, typically. But so I would, in that sense, you would kind of lean to Mike Grundy. But what I see in this fight, I don't think Mike Grundy's striking is all that more evolved than Evolev's. I think Evolev's pace with his actual grappling, between the actual, as far as grappling versus grappling, I think Evolev has fought the better grapplers and it's beaten better grapplers. Whereas Mike Grundy, he hasn't really fought any grapplers. I think he might have fought like one other grappler, and that's about it. And only that one grappler was like UFC caliber, but that guy hasn't been in UFC for a minute. So I'm leaning heavily to Evolev's being more proven with his grappling in the UFC. I mean, at this level, whereas Grundy, I think, only fought one fight that was truly a significant grappler at this level. And you look at his stats, his pace of grappling is much higher than Grundy's. I mean, we've seen outside of UFC, Grundy put on some high work rate with his grappling, but again, it was against fighters who weren't really grapplers. But when I'm going to look at the stats, I'm going to link to the stats, see Evolev is a fighter with the higher pace to his grappling, who's going to implement it more, and he's a younger fighter, about 7 years, so nearly 10 years younger than Grundy. Going to put that higher pace on there. And I think that's going to come down, and it's going to come down to work rate. It's going to be a close competitive fight. It's going to be a grit and grind. But I think Evolev is just going to be working a little bit harder, working a little bit more, working a little bit more frequently. And that's going to put him over Grundy. I see it's a very competitive fight, probably a exciting fight. Maybe not for people who love this all-out brawls and don't appreciate grappling, but for people who can appreciate MMA and grappling, this is going to be a high-level fight, high intensity. But I think Evolev is going to be a little bit more intense, and that's going to get him over the edge in a very tight matchup. So in this fight, I got Movsar Evolev via decision. Now to our next fight we have in the heavyweight division, Tom Aspinall versus Jake Collier. So Collier has been out of inactive for like 3 years now, maybe like 3 years because it was 2017, now it's 2020. So it's been a little bit over 3 years since Jake Collier has fought. Tom Aspinall has been fighting a little bit. He's been fighting frequently. He's been keeping up. He's just making the UFC debut. Now the UFC hasn't proven himself. Well, where I'm going with this, but whatever the case is, Tom Aspinall has been active, and Jake Collier has been far from active. Now he's coming back and he's fighting a big heavyweight. So he's coming back. He was a light heavyweight, maybe even a middleweight, really. And now he's going up to fight a heavyweight. I don't think he should be fighting a heavyweight, but I definitely think he has far more experience against higher level competition. Aspinall has given me a lot of questions about his level of competition. He's been fighting some very low tier heavyweights. Like, I don't think he has fought any decent heavyweight. So that gives Collier an opportunity to be a more technical fighter, or at least be a much better fighter than Collier had. Aspinall has faced, and he's been in much tougher fights. He's been in UFC for a good number of years and been there with some solid guys. So that gives Collier an edge in a way, but not enough of an edge. He's going against, it's 6'3" versus 6'5". Collier is 6'3", probably really a light heavyweight or middleweight. Now you're going against a big filled out heavyweight, like a real deal heavyweight, and Tom Aspinall, who's 6'5". I'm not saying like built like Ngannou, but the guy is big. He got some good striking. He got some good power. He kind of similar to Till. I'm not saying exactly like Till, but similar to Till. He has very good footwork, very good counters, a very strong right hand. I think with Till's a left hand, but he has a very strong right hand, very good credentials in striking, or you can see the level of striking he has. He has some solid striking. I think definitely if he works on that, he can go very far in this division. Definitely not top tier, or doesn't have top tier prospects to him just yet, but if he keep working, the sky's the limit for him. And he going against Jake Collier, I think really in all the areas in this fight, I think he can beat Collier, and I think with his size and with his skill, he can beat Collier in every area. No, if I just think he's just the more cleaner technical fighter. I think he's going to put that right hand on Collier early on and stop him in the first round. So in this fight, I got Tom Aspinall via first round TKO. Now to our co-main event, we have in the welterweight division, Nicholas Dalby versus Jesse Ronson. And let me just say one thing first off, Jesse Ronson is no joke. He kind of had a career that didn't go the way he wanted to go. But they did give him a tough couple fights in his, like when he was in the UFC. They gave him like Michelle Pereira. I'm not trying to say like, I'm going to get him mixed up with the little backflipping guy, but either way, he fought Kevin Lee and he fought Trinaldo. I might mess that first guy's name up, but I know exactly who he is. But that was a very dangerous guy right there. Very strong. And that fighter was on like 8-fight winning streak at one point or something like that. Just the same way Trinaldo was on like some 5 or 6-fight winning streak. So he fought some guys that literally went on some real tears in the UFC and were some threats and still are threats in the UFC. So basically the guy went 0-3 in the UFC, but all those fights were split decisions, and all those guys went on to do some serious things in the lightweight division. Did any of them go on to win belts yet? No, but they all went on to go on some serious streaks and beat some very credible competition. And he had split decisions with all of them. So this guy is not no easy fight for no one. But going against Dalby, I see Dalby as the longer, faster, rangier striker. I think more well-rounded. And in those fights, he was more so going against grapplers. I think Dalby definitely can't grapple like those guys can, but Dalby can outstrike all those fighters I mentioned. And Jesse Ronson has been having issues with longer, rangier strikers. I'm not saying Dalby is the longest or rangiest striker, but he's definitely a longer striker. He definitely has a higher level of skill than a lot of those guys that Ronson has struggled with. He's not as tall as some of them, not as lanky as some of them, but he definitely mixes up way better than a lot of those fighters. Very slick footwork, very slick striking, very slick transitional skills, and I think that's going to give Jesse Ronson a lot of issues. I think Jesse Ronson's not going to make it no easy fight. It's going to be a tough fight. Like he gives everyone a tough fight. But I think Dalby just too creative, too crafty, too talented, and presenting too many threats. And I think Dalby striking will be the biggest issue in this fight. So Ronson will be having issues with Dalby striking, and then he's going to mix in the grappling. He's going to mix it together very well and never allow Ronson to really get into his groove. But nonetheless, I think Ronson's going to find opportunities to make this fight grit and grinding and going to dig things out and make this a hard-fought fight. But I think Dalby's going to get it over. Get the decision, like I said. He's going to be landing more strikes. He's going to be getting some takedowns, mixing in kicks, chewing up the leg, chewing up the body, come over the top. Then when he fake overhand, go double leg. And it's like really just, like I said, mixing up very well, and that's what's going to get him over. Get him the decision. I don't think it's going to be like a close on a scorecard, like a split decision type fight like those other fights were, but I still see it as a competitive fight. But nonetheless, Dalby just outlanding him and also scoring some takedowns to make it a pretty clear-cut decision over 3 rounds. Probably winning 2, if not 3 rounds, and winning clear rounds at that. So in this fight, I got Nicholas Dalby via decision. Now to our prelim headliner, we have in the lightweight division, Francisco Trinaldo versus Jai Herbert. So look at him right here. Trinaldo's been around the UFC for a long time. Lots of power, very strong, underrated grappling, very dangerous fighter, very high-level striker. But going against Jai Herbert, the younger man, Jai Herbert is longer, 6'1", rangy. I think in this fight, I think Jai Herbert is the better striker. Trinaldo has for the better competition, but I see Jai Herbert is a better fighter. I think using that range, using that 1-2, using that cross, that jab cross combination, I think he'll be able to keep like in that speed of his and that reflexes of his. I think he'll be able to keep Trinaldo at the end. I think in those kicks, his kicks have like zero windup. They're so fast and they come in a way that you really can't even see them. Or they just like so little telegraph to his kicks. So not only the 1-2 cross, not only the footwork, not only the angles he creates, he's just a very tricky fighter for Trinaldo to deal with. But I see if Trinaldo's to win, it's on the inside. On the inside, Jai Herbert's good when he gets to the inside on you, when he chooses to get inside. When somebody gets on the inside of him, his defense gets very sloppy. Like at distance, he's like high tier caliber fighter. Like his striking is like top tier. Like very few people better than him when he's fighting at his range or he's setting like the tone for things. But when people get on the inside, his level drops very low. Like it's kind of almost mediocre when you get in on the inside of him. Like you get on the inside of him, his chin he got a glass chin. He can't really respond to combinations well when you're on the inside of him. Like he don't move his head very much. He's getting tagged. Like he don't know what to do when you get close on him. Like he kind of freezes up. But on the outside or when he's dictating whether he's going on the inside or not, he's a very dangerous guy. So I feel like if Trinaldo can time him over the top, that's a big opportunity. He could probably knock him out, one-shot him. Or if he gets on the inside and lands combinations, he could get Herbert. But at distance or mid-range, I think Jai Herbert just going to be beating Trinaldo to the punch and to the kick all night long, to the knee all night long. Like I said, I think Trinaldo get in it, but Trinaldo's kind of up there in age, even though he's still looking young and looking fresh, kind of like Yoel Romero is. But I still think Jai Herbert is a much faster, much sharper striker at most ranges. But I feel like I said, if Trinaldo can get on the inside or time a counter perfectly, then he could get that one shot, or he can make him very uncomfortable. I definitely think Trinaldo will have the advantage in the ground game and take him down if he can mix those in. But Trinaldo has not been historically known for putting on high-paced grappling matchups. He might shoot like one or two, three takedowns a fight. He might get average one of those takedowns a fight. Or really, I'll probably average less than a takedown a fight. But either way, he's not the guy that's going to be out there shooting a lot of takedowns. He might shoot one, might win a round off that. But for him to win off the grappling, I think he needs to do that at least 2 of the 3 rounds. I only think he's going to do that about 1 of the rounds or 1.5 of the rounds. And that's just not going to be enough. So I really see this Jai Herbert being a fast fighter, picking him apart from the outside, drawing that 1-2, creating angles, cutting angles, and really not allowing Trinaldo to get to, I guess, the angle, get to the distance or the range where it's going to best serve him in this fight to beat Herbert, which is on the inside, a closer fight. And I think, like I said, I think Jai Herbert just keeps him on the outside and chews him up over the course of 3 rounds. But I still see it's a competitive fight because Trinaldo's not going to be out of this letting somebody just pick him apart. He's going to be landing some big shots, probably go to the body a couple times, probably land a good shot here and there, make Herbert have to react. But Jai Herbert probably going to be fighting smart, maintaining his range and not getting flustered and allowing, Trinaldo to really get off. But still a competitive fight. But Jai Herbert just, his pace and volume, his angles, his speed just being too much for Trinaldo in this one, or a little bit too much for Trinaldo in this one. Not getting a finish, not getting a stop, and not getting some super phenomenal finish or anything like that, but just being up on the points as far as scoring against Trinaldo. So in this one, I got Jai Herbert via decision. And that concludes my fight predictions for the prelims of UFC on ESPN 14, Whittaker versus Till. And as always, thanks for watching.